Hey guys, it's David, and I want to talk to you about something, a little witness that I have, um, that I shared actually a couple of days ago with a couple of eighth graders, and I thought it was super important that you guys would know too about the certain witness that I gave, that I had, that I experienced. So, without further ado, it was last summer, and I wasn't feeling all too great. I was actually feeling really, really down. I was really lost with who I was as an individual. I really didn't know who I was. I was really concerned about my future and my vocation in life. In my heart, I felt like I had a calling. I felt like I knew what I wanted to do, but there was doubts in my mind. I didn't know if I was good enough. I didn't know that if what I wanted to do, what I thought I wanted to do, was really what God wanted me to do. And I had doubts. It's just worth it. Is it good enough? What's gonna happen to me in the future with this certain career that I want to do? And it was scary. And I prayed a lot during last summer. I prayed so much about it, to the point where I'd be sitting in my room and I'd cry over it. Multiple times where I was so confused with my vocation and just who I was as an individual in this life. And I remember one day, I went to youth group and we had this thing during the summer. And at the end of the session that I was at, one particular day, we had prayer teams, and we got to be able to pray over each other. And at this day, I was still confused about my vocation. So we get in a circle, and they asked me, what do you need prayers for? And I just said, just for who I am and for what I want to become in the future. And we're in this circle, and people are putting their hands over me, and they're saying these beautiful, awesome, amazing things about me and about my future. But one particular person said something that I'll never, ever forget. And she said, "David, I'm getting this vision that Jesus is on the road to Calvary, and he's falling. And he's looking at you, and he's putting his hand out for you to help him. He's putting his hand out for you to help him." Now think about that for a minute. This isn't a pure Jesus. This isn't a Jesus who's pure and has this white cloak over him, who's exuberating this holiness. The heavens is right behind him. Just whoa, no, it's not like that. There's no singing angels. This is a bloody, broken down Jesus. Just like all of us, a bloody and broken down Jesus who needs help. And he was looking at me. He's looking at me. And I remember at that moment, I was in the circle when she said that, and I broke down into tears. I cried. And I'll be honest, this doesn't normally make me cry. I'm not going to cry over something like this if someone else said that. But I needed it at that moment. Because I found out at that moment, with that vision of Jesus on the road to Calvary with his hand outstretched for me to help him, it really solidified who I was as a person and what I was meant to do as a person. At that moment, I figured out who I was as an individual. And it was such a life-changing experience at that moment. Because I found out that I'm a child of God. I am a child of God, and I should be showing that to others. Our job as Catholics, as Christians, we're literally supposed to have 2 jobs in this life. 2 jobs, that's it. And that's to preach the good news, and that's to love. And at that moment, I was reminded, it was solidified that I, a child of God, was supposed to preach these gospels, preach the news of Jesus, and to love. And it hit me. It hit me. And ever since then, I never lost track of who I was. Yes, there's been struggles. Yes, there's been pain and heartbreaks of multiple things. But I've never lost sight of who I was as an individual because of that day. Because I was reminded that yes, I have a family. I have blood relatives. But I also have a family in Christ. And I'm supposed to love that family. I'm supposed to love my family. And I'm supposed to stick by them and show not just my family but others the way to Christ, the way to the Lord. And it made me so empowered to do that. And it's still to this day, I go back to that memory. I go back to that vision and realize who I am. And it's awesome. And that's all of us. We're all a family. Even if you aren't necessarily Catholic, even if you aren't necessarily religious, we're a family. On this earth, we have two jobs. As Catholics, we have two jobs. And that's to preach the good news and to love. So please, I encourage you guys to remember that we are a family. Even if we aren't blood, we are here for each other, to empower each other, to make each other better every single day. Don't forget that. If you see someone down, help them. Maybe these people who are sad, who are lonely, who need help, they're just one person away from their lives changing forever. You might be that person to change their lives. You might be that person to just impact their lives in ways unimaginable. Be that witness that people need. And love. Love like you've never loved before. That's all I have, guys. Thank you guys so much for listening. I appreciate it. Peace out.